All right, what's going on, y'all? First off, shout out to everyone that was here yesterday. Okay, we covered a lot. In total, we was on here for about 7 hours yesterday. You know, we covered the Conor Ben fight with Chris Algieri, and then we went right into the ESPN card with Lomachenko, and then right after that, we went into the Showtime card with Nonito Donaire, which ended really late. I mean, I don't think. I think Donaire and Gaballo was in a ring like around 1:15 in the morning. Like that's when the fight actually started. So it was a late night. We was on there for a long time. And salute to everyone that was here, you know, especially for the people that stayed, anyone that supported, donated, smash the like button, share the video. Anybody that supported, and especially the new subscribers, welcome to the channel. All right. So I wanted to speak Lomachenko against Richard Comey last night. All right, and we're gonna talk more about this because 135 is hot right now. We had the Loma fight, we had the Tank fight last week, we had the Teofimo Lopez fight. We also had the Devin Haney fight. So everybody's talking 135 right now, like who's the best, who's the most deserving of the Kambosos fight. You know, all of that is, you know, all that talk is going on, and is good. It's good for the buildup. All right. Still a lot of unanswered questions though, because me personally, I just want to see the guys fight, and all this debating is cool, and we're gonna get into that in this video. All of the debating is cool, but we won't really know until these guys actually get in the ring. So we could talk about who's the better opponent or who's the best fighter, but if these guys never fight each other, we won't really know. All right, but I think in 2022, a lot of answers. You know, we're going to get a lot of answers to these questions, all right? So, the fight, Lomachenko dominated. Big shout out to Richard Comey because he fought like a warrior. He showed a lot of heart. He did not slow down at all. Okay, the game plan was really just to stay active. Keep the fight in the center of the ring. Don't back up. Keep throwing punches. And he did that. You know, his conditioning, his stamina was great for someone that took a lot of punishment, took a lot of body shots from Lomachenko. Comey stood his ground and kept fighting to the very end. I mean, even in the 12th round, he was still throwing a lot of punches. So good for him, especially for a guy that's like in his mid-30s right now. You know, I mean, for him to throw that many punches, because like constantly, even while getting hit, and keep going round after round, shows a lot. And I think that's part of the reason why he survived this fight. I thought, you know, I originally predicted for Comey to get stopped in the 8th. And, you know, we almost got that. We almost got it in the 7th. All right. And we'll get into that in a minute. But Comey kept throwing punches. You know, he kept coming forward at times. And it was a good showing. I mean, he clearly lost a fight. And me personally, I scored it. I gave him the first round, which was a filling out round, which was a swing round that could have gone either way. You know, so a lot of people gave it to Loma. I personally gave it to Comey, and I gave Comey the 8th round. That was the round after Lomachenko almost stopped him, but Lomachenko took that round off, and I gave it to Comey just because of the activity, right? So those were the 2 rounds that I actually remember. I think another one might have been a swing round in there somewhere, but Comey didn't win any more than like 2, you know, even 3 rounds is really pushing it, you know, but it was a dominant performance. The rounds that Loma definitely won, clearly won. He was dominant. He was landing combinations. He was going to the body. He was stepping around Comey, countering him. He was doing what Lomachenko normally does. He still looks good. I think the problem with people is you got to remember at 135, he's small. He's moved up 2 divisions before that, 1 titles in 2 divisions before that. And these fights have been tougher for him at 135. All right. And I'm not trying to give him any excuses, but it was a good showing, you know, and high volume from him, high volume from Comey. He did get touched up. He did get pieced up, but it was a good performance. He was never really hurt or anything like that. It was a very solid performance against a solid 135-pounder, a former champion, a top fighter, a top contender. He's been a top contender, and he's a career lightweight, Richard Comey. All right, so I thought the performance was good. I thought the performance against Nakatani was good as well, you know. And Loma is out. I don't even want to say he's back. I guess he's back because he did lose. He had surgery. He's back, so he's still doing good. But he still looks like himself to me, you know? And that's, you know, as a 33-year-old guy, a guy that is, you know, one of the most athletic fighters we've ever seen, great reflexes and everything. A guy like him to still fight on that level and look that good fighting that way, I'm impressed. I don't have no issues with Lomachenko in that performance. And the one issue I have is I didn't like what happened in the second round, and I didn't like what happened in the seventh round. You know, my thing is, if you're gonna get the stoppage, get it. You know, I think by, you know, doing a walk off in the second round when you like had him hurt and you did a walk off, it's kind of humiliating him. You know, and my thing is, listen, if you're gonna showboat, do it. That's fine. I love fighters that done it in the past. I love Roy Jones. Roy Jones was one of the biggest showsmen out there of all time. He's one of those guys. I mean, Muhammad Ali was too. We can go give you a million different examples of guys that showed off. But if you're not going to stop your opponent, especially when you have them hurt like the way you did in the seventh round, it's like, what's the point? You know, because in that seventh round, he dropped Commey, and it was very confusing. If you guys were here live, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. I didn't know what was going on. I thought the corner might have thrown in the towel, and Lomachenko was trying to tell the referee like, "Yo, they want to stop the fight." But what Lomachenko was doing was yelling at the corner and telling them to throw in the towel. My thing is, if the ref, you know, Stephen Willis, who is a loved, very respected ref, if he wants to let the fight continue, that's on him. You as a fighter, you do your job to get the stoppage if that's what you're going for. I know it's dangerous. We don't want anyone to get hurt. You know, this is a fatal sport at times. So I understand that. But you as a fighter, it's up to you to get the job done. If you want to get the stoppage, go for the stoppage. Don't yell at the corner to stop the fight. All right. If anything, yell at the referee before yelling at the corner, because he's the one that has the power to stop it. Yes, I know the corner has the power to throw in the towel, but the corner is going for their guy, their fighter. You know, they think their fighter has a chance. They're going to always be biased towards their fighter, you know, and they didn't feel like there was enough being done to Comey for them to stop the fight. And it wasn't, because Comey was still in there, you know. Now, he was dropped in the seventh round. He got back up and he was dropped. Well, he wasn't dropped again, but he was hurt again. And one of his legs just like malfunctioned. He's kind of doing a stanky leg. And there was another point where Loma backed off from him, turned, looked at the corner and said, "Stop the fight." You know, and he was like, listen, in that sense, the reason why I didn't like it is because you're kind of like humiliating him. You're like saying, like, I could beat him, I could stop him whenever I want to. I just don't want to because I don't want to hurt him. Well, that didn't stop you from knocking out all of the other people you stopped in your career. You know what I'm saying? You've toyed with different fighters. You humiliated them. If that's your thing, that's what you do. I've seen you do it, and I've seen you make guys quit, and I've seen you knock guys out. All right? Just one-shot guys. I've seen you destroy fighters. So in that sense, do what you got to do. Get the stoppage. If you want the stoppage, go for it. If you don't, then whatever. You know, you kind of making the fighter look bad without getting a stoppage. I'm sure Richard Comey would probably want you to stop him instead of humiliating him and making it look like it's a sympathy kind of fight. You know, I personally, for me, some people might not really be bothered by it. You know, I tweeted about this earlier and some of you were like, you know, he was just, you know, maybe he was just, you know, cautious and he didn't want to hurt him. And we're all going to look at it a different way, and that's fine. Me personally, I think he should have just went for the kill, you know, not literally, but went for the stoppage. You know, you have him hurt, get him out of there. In fact, you might do less punishment if you are going to stop him in the seventh round instead of putting more punishment in the 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th rounds. You got a whole half of the fight to go where you could have just stopped them in the seventh round and ended it there. You know, I mean, Luckily for Richard Commey, he was in a hospital. Everything checked out. Everything's good with him. I mean, he's a tough dude, you know. Loma doesn't have the power that Teofimo Lopez did, and none of us. I don't think any of us really expected Lomachenko to stop him quicker than a Teofimo Lopez. But I expected the stoppage based on what we saw, similar to what we saw in that fight. I expected that kind of stoppage. It's just that he didn't go for it. And maybe it's because, maybe, I don't know, maybe he felt like, you know, he likes Comey, you know, they're cool. Maybe he didn't want to hurt him. So it might have just been that, you know. But I think personally, I think he should have went for the stoppage. You already got people that don't like Loma that's saying, look, you couldn't even stop him. You couldn't get the job done. And if it was this person, if it was that person, they would have stopped him. That's what happens when you don't go all the way and finish through with it, you know. Especially because you kind of punched yourself out. You took a break the 8th round. They slowed down a bit. All right. So anyway, overall, very impressed with Lomachenko. I mean, again, I don't feel like he's losing a step. You know, based on that performance, based on the Nakatani performance, I don't feel like he's losing a step. I know a lot of people want to blame the loss of Teofimo based on him not fighting for 7 rounds, but that's the decision he made, and it was also part of the game plan going into the fight. They were trying to drag it out some and get the younger Lopez, the guy that didn't have many 12-round fights, to burn himself out and then strike later. That was part of the plan, and he actually did say that. All right, so I know the surgery. I know he had it. You know, I know he was injured, but I don't want to put everything on the injury and just leave it at that. You know. So anyway, Lomachenko, good win. At this point, and I'm gonna make another video. I'm probably gonna go on live in the morning and talk more about this, but it's all about Kambosos right now. You know, everybody wants Kambosos. I mean, Loma said that, you know, I've been wanted the Tank fight. You know, he did. He wanted the Tank fight before. You know, there's Devin Haney still out there who wants a Kambosos fight as well. You know, Ryan Garcia's out there. He wants a Kambosos fight as well. And then, you know, Teofimo is going to go up to 140 after he recovers and get back in the ring. So he's not really in the picture. So it's really Tank, who's most likely not going to fight any of those dudes because he's strictly PBC for this moment, at least at this time. And then you have Haney, Kambosos, and Ryan Garcia, who are other options. You know, but anyway, I mean, it was a good performance. I kind of wish I went to the fight, but I'm glad I didn't go because I like the fact that I was on live. You know, I love being on live, and that's one of the things that I think about, like when it comes to fights in New York. Like sometimes I want to go. Like I was thinking about last minute, like going out there, and then I was like, nah, you know what? I'm just gonna stay live, and the tickets were kind of pricey for at least for the seats that I wanted. They were pricey. So I was like, nah, I'm going to just stay and chill and do the live. And I'm glad I did. You know, I got the big PBC shout out yesterday. That was cool. So I kind of like the fact that I stayed home and just covered it. I know it was real tired. I know for the people that came in late for the Showtime card, I was really tired because I had already did 2 previous cards and my back was hurting sitting here. I was hungry. You know, it was hours being on here for like 4, 5, 6 hours. It's a lot. But anyway, again, good win for Lomachenko. Definitely going to speak more about this. Definitely want to talk about who I think deserves the fight against Kambosos and how this should all play out. I definitely want to talk about all of these things, all right? But Lomachenko still looks good. Again, Nakatani, I don't know if you guys rate him or not. I do. He beat, you know, he did good against Teofimo Lopez. Didn't win the fight, but looked good. And he also... he stopped for Felix Verdejo and a great fight. That was one of the better fights of that year. Was it this year or last year? I can't remember, but it was a great showing. He was hurt, he was down, and he was able to come back and stop Felix Verdejo. All right, so I rate Nakatani. He's good, and I rate Richard Commey as well. You know, former champion. So anyway, that's my views on it. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Definitely gonna talk more about this fight. Good win for Loma, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.